Oh, yeah. True Vine Media World, what's good? We here. Oh, yeah. We live. Live lessons. Coach, there you go. What's up, Tate? About to lock you in. All right. Bring him on in. Yeah, we got Tate Sports. He's been all around Atlanta media scene, covering all kind of sports. There he is. What's going on, sir?
What's up, boy?
What's up with your man? Turn
Man.
you up, turn the music down a little bit. Glad to have you on the program.
Oh man, no doubt, man. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be a part of it.
Man, we got a special guest tonight, Deshaun Tate. Like I said, sports journalist, reporter. You know, cover all things basketball, high school, college, even some pros. I mean, he's a fanatic. He loves the game. And without further ado, I'm gonna let him introduce himself. He got the floor. Go ahead, sir.
Man, just Deshaun Tate. You know what I mean? Just like you said, I appreciate the recognition, acknowledgement. Just big basketball, man. Been working in sports media probably since maybe 2011, maybe when I really first got started. A brother named Vincent Turner kind of turned me on to everything in regards to how it works. You know, how to the difference between just being a call-in and a headliner and just a guest on the show, and how to host my own radio show. So,
Yeah.
blessed, man. Originally from Lansing, Michigan, so I'm just a big Midwest dude, and just all about accomplishing dreams, establishing relationships, developing relationships, and just being positive, man. Just embracing positive energy. Ultimately, what it's really all about.
Absolutely, man. And what drew you to doing sports reporting? I know you said you had somebody introduce you, but what kind of led you into doing that more so?
Well, and you got to forgive me as I'm trying to get
Nah,
myself
that's good.
back
That works
here.
even better.
Trying to get myself together here. Really, man, more so, I'd say I've just always kind of been a sports dude. It's really been a lifelong dream of mine. What's funny about it, dude, is people who a lot of people know me, especially around the Atlanta area, as and I was just having a friend with one of my having this conversation with one of my homeboys. Actually, he just joined in.
Right.
Mike Dice, man, the Delegate 24. Thanking God
Appreciate
for good friends first and foremost, because that's obviously really important. But I was like 10 years old when I first got introduced to basketball. Not even so much, the media side. I wasn't really sure how to go about being a part of that. I just had a passion for the game. The switch didn't really flip for me to realize that you can actually do this for a career. You know what I'm saying?
it.
And
Right.
I was a wrestling dude. I was WW wrestling, WWF. You know what I'm saying? Like my family, the people who know me the best, like going backs from before I was double digits in age, will tell you like, yo, we thought dude was gonna be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Boxing expert 33 just joined in with us. That's my brother. He can take it back. I mean, we talking about bunk beds. You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought I was gonna be a wrestler growing up. I was really,
Yeah.
really heavy into wrestling, dude, and then my cousin Keith and my uncle Keith, they got something in the Midwest, man, 3-on-3 basketball tournament called Gus Macker. And I kind of got introduced to basketball that way. 3-on-3, you get your one sub, and I didn't know nothing about no basketball. I had hella defense for them boys, but other than that, I really like that for real. And it was like, we need an extra person, man, just somebody as a sub or whatever. And that was when I first got introduced and everything like that. And then I just kind of always loved researching material and always studied, you know, really hard, especially on college basketball. That was something that was just kind of like my love. You know what I mean? I always wanted to grow up and play in the Final Four. Coming from Michigan, I always wanted to play in Michigan State. So I've just always kind of followed along with everything in regards to basketball, man. And like, it's just crazy to think back at it now. That like 25 years later from the time that I got introduced, it's crazy.
Wow, wow. So what's like the best thing about it? Like, I know you get the chance to travel, you get a chance to talk about the thing that you love the most. You
Yeah.
get a chance to meet some of the athletes.
Yeah.
Wow, be you know, amazed by like what's the best thing about, you know, sports report, being on that sideline, getting those interviews. You know what I mean?
I don't know. You know, the part race, man, is just atmospheres. Like when you, I never really been about like growing up, dude. I was really like just in the girls. You know what I'm saying? Like it really wasn't about. I wasn't really sure how to go about having like friends with guys in terms of like where, you know, when you play sports, basketball, football, it develops like a brotherhood, and you get a chance to kind of like vibe and, you know, just develop friendships with other guys. I didn't really get that part because I wasn't really into it like that. I just around girls all the time. That was my thing, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it started teaching me little things like that, and that's what I started to probably embrace the most, is just being around other people and just my mentality, just my character, the way I've always been. I've always been a positive dude and always been about uplifting people and different things like that. And I'm a people person. So I think that's what I like about it the most. I mean, you get the opportunity to be who you are as a people person. I love to talk. I'm probably talking people crazy right now. I love to talk. So I have an opportunity where I get a chance to talk. I remember I've worked so many different jobs in my life, dude. It's absolutely crazy. Like, just to think of it. I mean, from the time when you was little and you get all your 4 seasons and you got to shovel the snow and rake the leaves. And I'm talking about lemonade stand and cutting yards and, you know what I'm saying, car wash and walking the neighborhood dog, delivering newspapers. Like, dude, I've literally did everything. I worked at a pouring warehouse before, dude.
Wow.
Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. I was in shipping. But I worked in a pouring warehouse before, bro. And I remember throughout all these different little jobs here and there, jobs that I would have, is that I would always get in trouble for being outside of my department, not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and always around other people basketball. And it was always like, yo, you can't be doing that. Like you gotta be on point. Like you dude. And it just clicked one day, like maybe I need to have me a job where I can talk and be able to keep up with basketball, doing something I love. And that's just one of the things that I always try and encourage people, because a lot of people are in this business for all the wrong reasons and trying to make a lot of money. It ain't even about all that. You got to really have a love. I tell people, they say, man, I love sports all the time. I said, dude, this is a different level. You have to really eat, sleep, drink, breathe sports if you want to be the best. That's something different than just doing it to say that you're doing it for the fun of it. So there's not really one specific thing to answer your question, bringing it back around full circle. There's not really one specific thing that I love about it the most.
And you've been your career mainly consists of you being here in Atlanta, or is it other areas that you were in?
People ask me all the time, like, how long have you been, you know, doing this? I tell them since I was 10.
Right.
And people are like, wait, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. But like, I just wasn't getting paid for it.
Right.
So up until the last, you know, I've been in the business for the last 9 years in terms of where I can actually get a little, even if it's $20 for just being a guest or whatever. You know, but before that, it kind of started when I was 10 years old, all the research.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just being up on top of my game like that. So I tell people I've been doing this since I was 10, but since 2011 is when I first kind of got like a little break. You know what I'm saying? So
how's it been here on the Atlanta scene?
Atlanta, when I got to Atlanta, man, I was doing a lot of other stuff. I wasn't really, not that I wasn't interested, but I just the switch hadn't flipped for me. You know what I'm saying? But it always, but I didn't really, it's not that I'm serious, but it just didn't click to where I realized that I can really, really do this.
Yeah.
always wanted to and thought that it would be cool. But when I got to Atlanta, that was 2005. So I've been here almost 15 years. However, you know, I've just really gotten deeper and deeper into it. And everybody knows Atlanta is a big football market, big
Yeah.
football state. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
beat you over the head with a football. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy to think about. But
Right.
I like to try and get people to embrace basketball too, because this is probably the biggest hotbed for basketball talent.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. We talk about that a lot. Last night we just had Coach Mo on from FBC on the girls' side, and they one of the hottest, if not one of the best programs in the nation. And I was just talking about that, how it just blew up and took over, and so much talent is here in Atlanta, and so many more uh, talented individuals want to come to Atlanta and be a part of certain teams as that. And there's other teams and other organizations as well. But yeah, Atlanta is definitely a hotbed for that. And it's definitely something that's, we're looking forward to, as being around, the sports environment, the sports world, sports media, such as yourself. So what has been like a great deal of advice that you've received and that you like to tell others that want to get started in this business?
To love it for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like at one point, man, I worked really, really hard because, like, for example, my dad, who I've never been crazy close to like that growing up, up in Michigan, them folks work in the automobile industry.
Right.
They believe in clocking in, clock out, you know what I'm saying? Clock in, do the work, clock out, get paid. In
Right.
regards to make sure you got a good 9-to-5, 401k. He did his 30 years at Chrysler, this and that. And I just decided to take a different road, and a different path that wasn't necessarily going to be one that where you was going to be able to get all those same things. We ain't going to guarantee the insurance and all this other type of stuff. So if people want to get into the business, I say all that to people get into the business for the wrong reasons, fame and all this other type of stuff. Well, that wasn't necessarily so much me. I didn't really care about that. I was just passionate about it. But one of the things that really, really made me want to be successful is that I wanted to prove my dad wrong, that I can be successful in this, to prove him wrong. And I was going about it in all the wrong ways. I should have been just doing it based on the passion I've always loved, something I've always had for the game. And I was cheating the game. I was cheating myself out of future opportunities and blessings down the road.
Right.
And so I would just tell people, just, always make sure that, you're developing and establishing relationships with people. The same person that, you will try, you might be afraid to ask a question or to go interview or whatever the case may be. Don't hesitate, because somebody else is going to have the balls to go in and ask you questions, and to pick certain people's brains. And then they have those opportunities and they're going to blow and you won't, because you decided to be hesitant about it. So just not to cheat the game, to respect it, to have full confidence in yourself. Don't pay attention to the competition. People say, oh man, it's a lot of competition out there. I don't see the competition, honestly. I really don't, for what I do, but that's just me as a person. I'm just confident in that way. But in the same token, I know that I can always learn from people. Like, we go back and talking about Atlanta. One of the things about being here in Atlanta is, and Michigan is such a basketball market and such a basketball place that, I was always under the teaching of learning from other people while still having the opportunity to engage in conversations and teach other people. But when I come here, I don't necessarily feel like I'm always learning from people who love basketball the same way that I grew up and that other people were. I feel like I do more teaching. But all in all, I'll say that Atlanta's definitely been good to me, giving me my first opportunity to have a chance to do this. And just don't burn bridges. Don't burn any bridges whatsoever, because the same people that you meet, and that you might do dirty, or you might, turn your nose up to, or whatever, those could be the same people that, you know, you may be needing to work for someday or whatever the case may be. And you never know who they know. I've been in positions and places before where people pointed me out and was like, yo, Deshaun Tate. And I'm like, I have no idea who you even know who I am. But that just, so you never know who's paying attention. You
True.
never know who's watching. And more than likely, it's always going to be somebody who you don't know and that you never thought would really be paying attention.
Wow.
That's paying attention to the moves that you're making, which is always a good feeling, but that it make you feel good.
Wow, wow, wow. Gator Sports just jumped in. He's been a consistent viewer. He just said, this is so true. The sports world is so small, and that's very, very true. We all connect or interconnected in some kind of way. You're going to see somebody that you know from this city or from this group or from this particular faction or whatever the case may be. It is very, very true.
And I want to throw one more thing out there that I didn't get a chance to mention. You know, I talk a lot, bro. That's what
No, man, go ahead. That's what this platform. That's what it's
about,
man. Go ahead and talk.
Business. I gotta be in the right business if I get an opportunity.
You are, man.
Yes, I tell people all the time, I don't know what else I'm good at, bro. But talking is one of them. It gotta be. My mama, my daddy, my family is talkers, bro. But another piece of advice that I would give people, man, is, you know, to not just to, you know, like I said, embrace the game and love the game and not cheat the game and everything, but to really embrace your colleagues and people who you may see that end up getting opportunities that you might feel like you deserve, but they get the opportunities and you don't. Like sometimes that's a test of faith. In order for you to be able to get your blessing, sometimes that's God, and I'm not trying to be the preachy dude, but sometimes that's God putting you in position just to see how you're going to react to somebody else. You might have worked harder than them. You might have, you know, you might know more than them. They might, you know, you might almost be a mentor to them, you know, and you looking for your big break. But when they get their big break, be happy for people, you know, because sometimes that is a test just to see how things are going to be before you get your opportunity to shine. So I always tell people that, man, make sure that, you know, you are, make sure that you're happy for other people when they get their chances, just the same way you would want you.
Absolutely, man. That's so true, man. We got to be positive. We got to look forward to other people breaking through, possibly before us. Not every time you're going to be the man or the person or the star that everybody looks at, but you could be a shoulder that somebody else steps on to get to that higher level and get to the next thing. So for you, like, what was one of your biggest interviews that you got here, you know, in the Atlanta area, or since you've been reporting?
Man, dude, wow.
So many.
Dang, that's a tight one, dude. I don't know. I had an opportunity some weeks ago, probably about a good month and a half ago. I had a chance to interview Chris Bosh one-on-one. That was really, really big for me. Me coming from, you know, the Detroit area, having the opportunity to interview Isaiah Thomas was really, really huge.
Wow.
Gary Payton was another one. That was a really big deal to me. I mean, and it just seems like I get blessed more and more with bigger name people every single time I have the opportunity to go out and interview somebody, you know, and it's not always because of something I per se did. So a lot of times it's like, yo, and this is why it's important to just be good to people in general, because sometimes people will be like, yo, I need somebody to interview somebody. That's how the Isaiah Thomas and Gary Payton interview came about on the same day. It was like, yo, we need somebody and we don't have nobody. We know how much you love basketball and I believe in you. So here you go. And I was like, wow, like I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? But that was
Hall of Fame.
I've interviewed, man, a lot of people. And that's not like an arrogant thing. I'm blessed to be able to have that to interview some of the people and even shake hands with some of the people, meet some of the people that I've had the opportunity to meet, man. But you know, I'm trying to think of who else, man. There's so many names. There's so many people that I had an opportunity, and some people I interviewed without actually having the opportunity to record it. But it was more so an opportunity where I could talk to them. I met them. I could talk to them face to face, pick their brain, ask them questions. And we didn't actually have the opportunity to like record it so I can go back and listen to how it sounded. I was just picking brains. And a lot of times you know, a lot of those guys didn't have to filter their words. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
just kept super funky, used the funkiest language that you could
Yeah,
use.
yeah.
You know what I mean? The explicit content.
Yeah.
And that means just as much as just about anything. So those are just a few guys, man. But I've interviewed quite a few people, man, and I'll always say that I'm blessed for that, because if it wasn't for people that believed in me outside of just me believing in myself and just coming from a really good support system, family, friends, colleagues, people praying for me, that was probably more important than anything. There's no way that I would have been able to pull off some of the stuff that I have.
Absolutely, absolutely. And two-part question there. Who was that person that believed in you so much that gave you that spark? And where do you draw your inspiration from now to continue to go as you go?
Um, the inspiration for me to do what I'm doing, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of it was, you know, what's funny is one of my brothers, man, he used to, and maybe this is more so how I ended up picking up, you know, wanting to do reporting. But I remember being like so young. I was in like one-piece pajamas growing up when I was young. You know what I'm saying? And you know how it is. I'm the baby, man. I'm a young dude. So I was just being a little pest to one of my brothers who always, I never knew what he was doing in his room. His room door was always closed every time I come in. He's sitting there with a magazine. I've collected every college basketball magazine now from 1994 all the way up until now. So I have a huge, just boxes on top of boxes on top of boxes of magazines, because he was a collector himself. And that's just
Wow.
kind of what started. But I never knew what he was doing. So
Yeah.
he always get out, get the hell out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I was just being a little brother. I was being a pest until one time he said, okay, you can come in, but you sit right there and you don't say nothing. And I didn't. I just watched him. He's sitting down with his, and that my cousin right there, Keith Tate, just joined in. That was my cousin. I told you I played the 3-on-3 basketball tournament with, that
What's
introduced.
up, cuz?
That's Cuzzo. But yeah, no, but he was always looking through his magazine and had his pen and his paper, and was always writing down you know, different programs and schools and institutions and players and where they was ranked in the country and coaches and how they fit into the systems and so forth. But I didn't know what he was doing until I just kind of decided to, when he was at school, you know, be nosy, you know what I'm saying, and dip into some of his stuff and see what he was writing down. And that's what also kind of helped me pick up the college basketball side. Everybody fell in love with the NBA game. But so my brother was a very, very huge, he was a very huge inspiration for me to what I'm doing. Hubert Davis, who used to be on College Game Day and is now one of the assistant coaches for North Carolina. When I first met him, I had the opportunity to have a sit-down conversation. Now we're like friends. You know what I mean? We had some opportunity to have some extensive conversations on how to get started in this business. And he's been a big
Yes.
inspiration. Last but not least, or you know, I could probably go on all day trying not to, but Rob Parker is a good friend of mine, man. He always, you know, I just met him about a year ago. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. Actually, 2 years ago, Super Bowl, so last year, but Super Bowl weekend, just embraced me, man, and I just picked his brain. Like I said, if I never would have went up to him and talked to him and spoke to him, then I may not have ever been spoken to, and somebody else could have that relationship. But we just shot the breeze, and he got to telling me Tom Izzo's never going to win another national championship for as long as he's a coach. And we got to talking some jazz, and then from there, he's like one of my good friends. So he's he inspires me a lot for sure.
Cool, cool, cool. And um, with that inspiration, uh, what do you look? What are some of your goals? What do you look to accomplish as you go on? You know, spill all the beans. But what do you look to do next? Like have your own show, maybe. You know, I don't know. Travel across seas and be at different sporting events. What are some of those things that you look to accomplish?
Well, the first thing I want to accomplish is continuing to be consistent and persistent. You know, praying that I don't fall off to go any further down than I ever, you know what I mean? Just to pray that better days is on the way at all times, and that all you do is go up. That's very important. Just not just to pray for better things to come, but just be thankful for where I'm at right now, and to continue to stay, you know, humbled and grounded, and to just be modest, treating people fair so that those blessings can come later. But even more so, I said I wanted to go, and this probably part of what really bothered me about this year, this season, with the whole pandemic and everything else, is that I watched a documentary piece one time on some guys, some older guys, obviously, that had gone to every single Super Bowl since Super Bowl I. And I was like, dang, that'd be pretty dope if I had that opportunity to do that. So I want to go to every single Final Four from here on out. Well, the year that I said that I wanted to do that was 2015. Since 2015, I've been to every Final Four event that there has been. Live, stepped on the court, interviewing players, going to post-game press conferences, the whole nine, let alone that, just to go, just to be there and enjoy the atmosphere. And this year I didn't get that opportunity because none of us got that opportunity. So that bothered me. That hurt me. You know what I'm saying? But that's always been one of my goals ever since 2015, is to go to every single Final Four. Another one is I do want to do some NBA. I do want to cover an NBA Finals. I wanted to cover an NBA draft, man. I remember NBA. There's 2 times that my mom will tell a person to never bother me outside of Final Four weekend, and that's Selection Sunday and NBA draft night. Dude, I will literally close my door, get my pen and my paper. I mean, you would think I'm about to be drafted. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like on that tip. Like I get weird about it. I get into my own brain about it, and I write down all different things, you know. And so it's like, what I would do is, like, I always wanted to go to the draft just once. I had the opportunity in 2018, the year that DeAndre Ayton went #1. The Trae Young, Luka Doncic year, and I had the opportunity to be there in Brooklyn, and that was really awesome. I always wanted to do that. I've covered NBA summer leagues. I just want to continue to go. It's not even really about what I haven't accomplished yet or what I have accomplished. There's not a lot that I haven't accomplished yet, but there's still so far of a way to go. I'm just really focused on being consistent, but I do want to get some NBA Finals in there, and just continue to develop relationships. One thing I can tell you, I do want to interview Michael Jordan. That's what's going to be so awesome about what we're going to see on Sunday. I think that's going to be awesome. That's one that I've always wanted to do, is because he's the GOAT. So despite all the other stuff that they saying about LeBron James and everybody else. And I'll say this one last thing before you get asked a question. I had an opportunity to interview LeBron James, and it's crazy because I got a telephone call from where I used to work at 92.9 The Game here in Atlanta, and the sports director reached out to me and was like, yo, like, waking up that morning knowing that Cleveland was in town, we need somebody, it's a last minute thing, it's in about an hour, can you interview LeBron? Like, I'm looking at the phone like, dude, like, is this a trick question? Like, of course I can interview LeBron, you know? And so I was like, all right, cool, just be there at this time, so on and so forth. I didn't even have enough time to jump in the shower because of where I was living was so far away from the arena, and I needed to be there in an hour. I jumped up, my teeth, threw some clothes on, jumped in the car, dude, and was on my way. And before I could pull all the way out the driveway, realizing that I had a flat tire in my driveway. The most difficult thing that one of the most difficult things or phone calls that I've ever had to make was to call my sports director at the time and let him know that due to an unfortunate set of circumstances, I'm not going to be able to interview LeBron James today. So maybe could have did the Uber, maybe could have. I mean, I was tore up about it, man. I'd be lying if I sat back and told you I didn't shed some tears.
Yeah, I know that was tough, man. Just to had that opportunity, it's right there in the grasp of your hands, and it's like it just slips through. And then, but you know, we learn a lot from those opportunities because you got to be prepared and be ready. I know that was a tough one, man. Woo! I'm hurt now for you.
Still tough.
Yeah, I'm hurt now. Like, man, what? I'd have figured out a way. I'd have called the neighbor or something. Look, you gotta get me there. I'll pay you back. You know what I'm saying? This is one in a lifetime opportunities. And you know, and that's what you said. Like you said, you have to love it, and you gotta love it that much too. You're willing to do just about anything. I mean, you're not gonna give your soul. You ain't gonna trade your first child and all that other stuff like that, or your mom, all that. But it's a passion and an intensity to what you do that you love it so much you do it for free, but because you're so good at it, they pay you for it. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. So, I remember meeting you at it was an event in Gwinnett County at Peachtree Ridge, and Zion was there.
Yep.
Zion Williamson. This is one of the first times I met Zion.
That was a pretty dope interview too. Forgot about that one. That was
that's pretty dope. He's a very humble kid, you know what I mean? Just high school. He was like 16, 17 years old at the time. He's just, real cool, just played the game, and he just came right out and just talked to us. And the crazy thing about it was, it wasn't too many people. It was a few people in the outside the locker room waiting on him to come out, but it wasn't like crazy crowded. Like I can imagine how it is now for him.
No doubt.
But he still had the stature, still was a big kid, and it's just like, man, he's gonna be a pro one day. And now look at him. And,
that's funny you say that. That's funny you say that, bro, because like I know a lot of times, I tell people more than anything, regardless of the talent that he is, man, he's such a good kid. And I don't like to say that to the point where it has people thinking like there's bad kids out here. You know what I'm saying? But like the definition of a good kid, like when you think about the guys, and I'm not saying these are bad guys by any means, but when you start thinking about guys that commit to Duke, you think certain types of players. He didn't come across as a Duke player to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He just didn't appear to be that way. And no shade to Duke, obviously, because they got the kid. But it's just crazy to see what he was able to do when I first seen him. I'm like, dude, this is like Julius Randle meets Charles Barkley with a pinch of Larry Johnson, Shaq, and like, you know what I'm saying? It was like a hybrid. It was like a combination of guys. But how humble he was, man, and just how modest. Like, I remember talking to him that same day, and the conversation that we had, and that was actually the same week that Drake had worn like his jersey or something like, you know what I'm saying? And so I asked him about it. I was one of the first people that had the opportunity. Well, we were one of some of the first ones that had the opportunity to interview him after that time and just kind of pick his brain about that a little bit. And dude was like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't even, like, I don't really have words. Like, it was so surreal to him. But one thing that stuck out like a sore thumb to me that he said is that he was much bigger than he was when we seen him, or slightly, whatever. To see him take off and some of these thunders, dunks, and different things that he's doing was surprising him. So while we were all like flabbergasted, like, I can't believe I've never seen a dude this size with that kind of agility and athleticism and jumping that high and doing some of the stuff he's doing. Not only was that surprising to us because we'd never seen that before, but it was surprising to him. And I just love how honest he was about that in that moment. He was very, very humble, very good kid, like you said. It was a pleasure to see him play. I've seen him play several times in high school, and definitely get an opportunity to interview him. That was a beautiful thing. And it was a great opportunity for us to connect at that time too. So that was really good. And one thing I didn't notice though, you there, I watched how you were moving, and you were like moving here, moving there. You were making sure you get to your spots, and you were ready to go. It's like you didn't miss a beat. You know what I'm saying? And you would think the way you get the interview, when somebody listens to it, it's a team with you. It's just you. It's just me.
So, it's just you and your recorder. So it's just like you would think somebody else there, doing this thing, but nah, it's like, this is field reporting for real. So it's like, really, everybody, y'all can learn a lot. Once again, we here with Deshaun Tate, Tate Sports, phenomenal guy, sports reporter, sports media, all things basketball. He's been around 929 The Game, CBS 46, does a lot of great things, man. Midwest guy, loves Michigan State and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And one of the things I wanted to ask you, during this time of quarantine, how's it been for you, maintaining, not being able to get out to the games as much, not being able, I know you're probably reviewing a lot a lot of old footage or reading a lot of magazines now, a lot of articles. But how's it been not being able to get out as much though?
I've always been one to watch old games. Like, this isn't nothing new. Like, some people is driving them crazier. I've always embraced old games because I'm a film dude. Like, I
Yeah,
tell people all the time, I wasn't a great basketball player by any means, but I've always understood it much better than I've played it.
right.
Um, and so, you know, where a lot of people where we're having to go back and watch and do all these different things, I've kind of tapped into a little bit of a different side, man. Honestly, I've
Ooh.
you know, we all watch games, but
Mm-hmm.
I watch with different eyes, and that's what makes it different for me than I think it does for other people, and just try to move in that way because I'm looking at something different than other people are. Um,
Right.
you know, I'm tapping into some spiritual sides a little bit more so now.
Good.
We do have this break, and that's why I try to encourage other people while we do have this time to see what else that you might actually be good at,
Yeah.
besides something that you may do every day, or use this time that before you didn't have. You make an excuse, or be honest about it and say that you don't have the time to do it, but now we have all the time. Like, do those things.
Right.
I'm finding myself doing a little bit more reading than I usually do a little bit more praying than I usually do,
Yeah.
learning a little bit more about myself on a different level than I
Yeah.
usually do, you know, and so being thankful for life more than I usually would.
Wow.
Um, Realizing how important it is for us to still be here. And you know what? We're gonna find out when this whole quarantine thing is over with who really about it and who was really just texting and tweeting about it.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the important, man. So I just encourage everybody to see what else you might be good at, or whatever you've been putting off for a while, even if that's going live, even if that's, you know, your own podcast together, trying to work on your own show, exercise, drinking more water, eating healthier, or just whatever. I don't care whatever it is, you know, especially if it's something that's going to move the positive meter, or needle on the positive meter, just to try and work on doing more of that. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
tapping into that, and I'm still keeping up with the guys that's deciding to leave and go pro early, and what guys are committing to different schools, you know, different commitments and stuff like that. So I'm on top of all that stuff, but I'm more so just taking some time out for Deshaun Tate. Like,
Yes.
what's going to break me and my brand through. I'm working on my brand, the Tate's Take brand. Getting the website out, working on that right now. I got a podcast that I've been working on fairly diligently. That's at Tate's Take. You can find that on social media at Tate's Take Hoops, TATESTAKEHOOPS, where basketball lives. That's the hashtag. You can see it up in the top left-hand corner. But you can, you know, it's accessible to all, you know, Red Circle, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, the whole nine. But just trying to think of different ideas and talking to different people, picking brains. That's most of the stuff that I've really been doing over the course of this quarantine, and picking up the phone and letting people know you love them. I've lost some people.
Absolutely.
I lost my uncle last week, you know,
Wow.
who's always been a proud uncle. And I lost my pastor who christened me as a baby. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? And that's difficult for me because I can't even go and and um and grieve with my family.
Right.
So we literally looking at a situation where there's no March Madness, where most people might be like, yo, like, it's just basketball. Like, it's not that serious. People losing lives. And no disrespect to the people who are losing lives and all those things, because obviously the virus is very important. But something very sacred was taken away from me called basketball, because if I don't know anything about anything else, it's basketball. And that's the eggs that I've put that's where I put all the eggs into that particular basket. And it's forcing me without basketball to flex muscles that I haven't flexed in a long time. So they canceled basketball. I got released from my job,
Mm.
laid off. I lost my uncle and I lost my pastor, you know. But I'm still in a really good headspace. I still got really positive supporters. And I'm still praying for people, and people
Yeah.
still pray. me, and that's the beautiful thing about it. And that's pretty much how I've been covering a lot of the bases in the quarantine realm.
Man, it's phenomenal that you talk about loss. That's a theme that we've been dealing with this week. Overcoming adversity, excuse me, being more than a conqueror, dealing with loss, dealing with pain, and you talk about things that you've lost because of the quarantine or during the quarantine, and you're still going strong. You know what I mean? That is remarkable, but it's not always easy. You know, that strength has been put in you from young or through your experiences as an adult, but you have them nonetheless. Uh, why is it important to maintain? Why is it important to still find out more about yourself, especially in a time like this, as opposed to try to run away and avoid dealing with yourself?
Because I think it's because you're gonna learn. So you learn so much about yourself in the process.
Mm-hmm.
3 days after I'm 35 now. 3 days after my 24th birthday, I lost a daughter. You know what I'm saying? And that was the most difficult thing that I've ever done. That was just before I was really, really, really trying to inch towards, finding out what my career path was. And that's the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life.
Wow.
But I decided to go full-fledged with this. I could have went and worked jobs and done, other things. But I just refused to settle because I know where I
Mm-hmm.
come from. And when things happen in your life, a lot of times it's just a test of faith.
Yeah.
There was times when I was questioning God and I was angry. I lost, dude, like I'm probably somewhere right around like 150 right now. The heaviest I've been is 152. I lost a daughter in less than I was 123. You feel me? And literally every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner was smoking weed, drinking room temperature Hennessy, and listening to Tupac because I thought he was the only person that could ever feel my pain. You see what I'm
Right. Right.
saying? But that's when I decided that, you know what, um, I'm going to dedicate all of my success and everything that I do from this point forward to her. And that was my primary focus, and that's something that I want to do. So you learn a lot about yourself. It builds character.
Yeah.
And it's also maybe more important than anything else, so that you can share your stories and your testimonies with other people to prepare them for when they go through things. Because not if they go through things, but when they go through
Yeah.
things. Because we're all gonna
Yeah.
go through things, and most of the time, a lot of the worst things are gonna happen when you are the most focused on something you love, something you're the most passionate about. And things like that. So it's just important because that's what carries you over. A lot of people are like, dude, like, I didn't know all this stuff was going on. They're like, dude, how are you even standing? There was times when I didn't know how I was still standing. I had no idea. I
Exactly.
didn't know, you know. But it comes from good relationships that you have with people. There was people praying for me. There's gonna be people who gonna say that they gonna be there, that ain't gonna be there. A lot of times the people that's gonna be there are gonna be total strangers that support you. I've got more total strangers that have been there for me than myself.
Wow.
A lot. So, it's a grind. It's a grind for sure. But it's like right now, just like with everything going on with COVID-19, only the strong survive.
Yeah.
And so it's just really important to tap into positive energy right now, because I think that that's something that we all need, and I'm here to share that, and that's one of the reasons why I want to come on tonight.
Man, I'm so glad you're on tonight. Once again, we got Take Sports on today. Sports reporter, sports journalist, all things basketball, sports media. He's been all around the city of Atlanta. He's been
From
doing
the
this for
ground
over
up,
25
bro.
years,
From the
researching.
ground up.
He on the grind. He's joined the True Bond Media. I'm so glad to have him. Honored to talk to him, talk about his pain and struggle, his biggest interviews, why he's motivated and inspired to do what he do. Took a quick turn real quick while we got a little more time left. What do you think of this year's draft with all the news that came out about Jalen Green, Isaiah Todd, they choosing to go pro, and this, that, and the third? What do you think about some of the news you're hearing, and what do you think of this year's NBA draft?
In regards to the draft, man, it's going to be a really down draft year. I think most people, the consensus would probably agree with that. I'm looking forward to see who's going to come out of this draft class because just like so much uncertainty from this year in basketball, starting with the death of Kobe Bryant and everything else, like we've seen so much. Like there was March. We didn't have to wait until March to get some madness. That's why I'm not really too pissed off about it. Like we've seen madness from the beginning of the season. There was no consistent number ones. There was no standout players that stood out amongst everybody else. I think that's what's going to make it really awesome. Obi Toppin, took advantage of being one of the more experienced and older players in college basketball this year. So I thought that was really, really awesome for him and for Dayton to do what they was doing. We never seen a year like this before, and there was no clear-cut favorites. In regards to individual players, I mean, I personally, I do like Ant-Man. I do like Anthony Edwards. I'm partially a little bit biased to like Anthony Edwards because he is a Georgia kid. But when you look at, his measurements, how strong he is, how high his ceiling is, remind a lot of people of something like a Victor Oladipo or a Dwayne Wade. A lot of times we hear a lot of those same comparisons. And so I'm really happy for him because he comes from a rocky background a little bit. I'm excited about RJ Hampton. I'm not going to touch the LaMelo Ball thing too much because I'm not a LaMelo Ball dude. I wish him the best, of course, obviously, but I'm a RJ Hampton dude. I think he's going to be arguably the best player in this draft. Certainly wouldn't surprise me to see him in the next, 2 to 3, 5 years from now is going to show that he, if not the best player in this draft, one of the best. But you got some really good players out there. I mean, Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois is really good. He's going to pick up people. He's going to surprise so many people. There's another one that I'm thinking of, Texas Tech, and I'm drawing a blank. It's so many different names and different things to remember, dude. You got 351 Division I programs.
Exactly.
But I'm missing that one. But no, I think that it's going to be, it may not be the greatest class out there, but I will say enough to say that it'll be an interesting class. And I'm excited to see who's going to come out and look good.
Cool, man. And what do you think? What's the time frame you think they're gonna push it back, or has there been a decision on that yet? I might have missed it. I'm not sure.
No, there's not a decision on it yet. I think a decision should probably be coming down pretty soon. But I think that, with everything else going on in the world right now, that it's kind of been pushed back some, obviously, but not too far back because that draft isn't until June. It's not like you have basketball games to play necessarily, which will determine much about the draft. However, you do have to try and figure out where guys are gonna, pick from. So I'm not sure we'll see an NBA season. And I think that's probably the crazy part about not just the draft, but the NBA season in general, is they're now talking about playing games in empty arenas and testing players. I don't know if that's after and before or before everyone, make sure. But that's a little bit discouraging because out here that is fighting for their lives. You know what I'm saying? Need a test desperately, but just so we can push sports and basketball in general to the forefront, we can make sure that those guys get tests just so that we can be have something to kind of distract us from everything else that's going on. And I love basketball just as much as anybody. So as long as they're making the right decisions, man, that is fair to other people outside of just trying to appease sports fans and players, I think it'll be the right way to go. But I mean, I don't have a lot of say in the decisions that they decide to make. I just hope that everybody gets the help that they need, and we can kind of go back to being able to enjoy basketball and worry about stuff.
Yeah. I hope the same thing. We've never seen anything like this cut so abruptly. We never playoffs. They said would start tomorrow, and it's just like crazy, man. We're not going to get that. We won't probably have an NBA champion this year as well either. It's going to be one of those years, an asterisk year, just unlike anything else. Man, once again, we got Take Sports on here, phenomenal guest, talking about his start, his beginning, his drive, his motivation, his biggest interviews, NBA draft, excuse me. And anything else you'd like to add before we go, Tate?
Just more so, man, just to let people know to be encouraged at these times, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that's something that is very important. Just continue trying things that you might not typically tap into or that you haven't in a long time. Flex muscles that you haven't flexed in a long time. Stay prayed. And just motivating other people, you know. And I've always been one to try and inspire other people and try and keep a positive, you know, optimistic mindset. And just for everybody to stay safe, man. More importantly than anything, I mean, I want basketball to come back around just as much as anybody. I miss it. I love it. I mean, you think about it, dude, losing family members and all this other kind of stuff is bad enough as it is, but usually that's my distraction. But I don't even have a distraction, so I can only imagine how crazy everybody else is going. But sometimes this is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes what we're going through right now is something that's needed. And I challenge people to encourage that side of it, because it's not often that we have an opportunity to catch up on rest and to actually find some downtime to, you know, I'm sure that there's a lot of parents out there right now that are learning things about their kids that if this never happened, they may have missed that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So to take that time out to embrace that. And obviously, I appreciate you for bringing me on. I hope I gave the people something good to think about.
Absolutely.
And, you know, just to keep dreaming, just keep
Yeah.
following that. Better days are definitely on the way. And just to keep on following those dreams, because, you know, some people still don't know what they want to do.